Morning, ladies and gentlemen, I'm meadsy69. Welcome back to the channel. So we've had a look at the new German tech tree, German tech tree with the new tungsten shells. Time to look at the VK72. Now, of course, the VK72, the tungsten shells, wargaming added to make it different to that of the E100, a different playstyle. But it hasn't changed the playstyle of the VK72 at all, because it was a different playstyle to the E100 anyway. Now, as you know, the E100, the bottom plate is very weak and the side of the gun is all weak, and even the bottom of the gun. There's so many weak points of the E100. However, the VK doesn't have them weak points at the side, sort of these this bit here on the side right here on the little bobble bits, as you can see, that stick out underneath the turret. Those are the weak points. Those are the mega weak points of the tank. Now, the bottom plate is still very, very strong. People can't really penetrate that with AP. They have to switch to the APCR or the heat to penetrate that. And it works out, if you sort of lift your tank up, it's a very, very difficult pen. What you don't need to do, like the E100, so the E100, you need to angle your gun and you need to angle your hull to get decent armor. However, with the VK, you don't need to do that. You just look directly at them. That's what you got to do. And if there's a tank coming to look at you, then you just try and move your tank looking at that enemy tank. Try not to give them the side of your just below your turret, because that is where the weak points are. I still think this is a much better E100, and now with the tungsten shells, it's been made even better than it already was. Now, people, since the VK has come into the game, has been introduced into the game, people don't give this any love. People underestimate just how good this tank is. Now, I was just about to say we're going to watch two pro players play the VK72, but yeah, this is Bolt. No idea why Bolt is going up here, but I think I know he's going to cross the river because that's a good position. But yeah, he's taken his time. He's actually taken almost a minute to get into this position. So yeah, GG Bolt, GG. But in the long run, it actually works out to his favour. So he is crossing, and of course now the T57 on the enemy team has been spotted. Now, of course, the biggest downfall with this tank is the speed. The mobility of the tank is very, very slow. And again, like all the other tanks in this line, make sure that you are able to take a couple of shots when you hit that tungsten shells, whereas the other tanks in the line are all able to shoot around 3 times, but the VK can only shoot twice while it's got that tungsten shell. So you have to make sure that you've got them shots available, because it does make a big difference. As you can see here, Bolt's just got 2 shots and he's almost on 1500 damage. That is massive. That is absolutely massive. And that guy there now is only on 500 hit points. That T57 is only on 500 hit points, and he's not going to last very long. If Bolt can get that shot, that would be an amazing shot. Didn't think he would get the shot, but still he wanted to try it. So already 1 tank down a piece, 2 minutes gone. The T100 there is a 1 shot, and you can see Bolt wants this T57. He knows he's an easy target, and he knows that he's got a couple of tanks coming to his left, and the Leopard 1 is also a juicy target, and Bolt knows that. He's got the HE loaded. He's going to try and go for it, but unfortunately the Leopard was facing. Now, you will probably bounce more shots in this tank when you're angled, when you've got your angles, than you would take shots. Again, as long as you don't show your side or your rear, then you will bounce shots. Ideally, you want to be facing the enemy team. You want to be facing the tank that is looking at you, and that's when you will generate bounces. So Bolt is now on 2100 damage. He has tanks coming from behind, so he does need to be very, very careful. As like the E100 and the super heavies, the DPM isn't great on this tank. Thank you T57 for giving us the kill. So now that is 2 tanks down for the enemy and 2 tanks now down for the green green team. But the IS-7 and the Leopard 1 are both one-shots, and Bolt now again has a tungsten shell ready. He needs to use it wisely. I would probably use it on that IS-7 if I'm honest, just to guarantee that he doesn't low roll, because if he low rolls then it might not turn out good for him. But no, Bolt is going to go for the shot and he misses. So luckily he didn't actually use that tungsten shell, so he still has it available. But it's a 3 versus 5 at the moment, a 3 versus 5. The Badger there is in all sorts of problems. As long as he can take out the IS-7, then it shouldn't be too bad, because Bolt here is still full hit points. But yeah, they're not able to take care of the Leopard 1 or the IS-7. So and the Badger remains well, the Badger's gone, but the IS-7 is now dead. So Bolt's going to come over the top. He's going to use the HE shot, and he should be able to clear him without, again, using that tungsten shells. And again, I love the fact that he's not just spamming the tungsten shell button. He's only going to use it when he needs to use it, and he knew he didn't need to use it against that Leopard, so he's saving it for when he does actually need it. Now here he's used the tungsten shell. I wouldn't have used it there. I wouldn't have used it right there. I would have waited, because now he's not going to be able to get the shot off. If you can see, the T-57 is hiding and he only has sort of 5 seconds. So that for me is, even though he's still got the pen, that was a little bit of a waste if I'm honest. And he could have used it now when a tank is in the open. So I think that would have been more effective than using it against the T-57. But Bolt now is in a fantastic position. As we know, this is a very troll position for any medium tank, let alone a heavy tank. Now, I've done a replay not so long ago, maybe it's on the channel already, from the grill, doing sort of 9.2k damage, 9.3k damage. That grill was actually that WZ113 on the enemy team, Freedom. Absolutely fantastic player, and he has a great game here. So as you can see, Bolt is not in the best of positions now. He has the T-57 behind him. He's going to try the HE, and it does pay off. What good use of the HE there. And as you can see, nice little bit of that angle in there, and he gets the bounce from behind. So Bolt has now bounced 2,000 damage, and he's on 5k damage himself. You can see he doesn't really want to know the WZ at the moment, because he really wants to clear the T-57, and the T-57 really messes up there. So when you are face hugging a VK72, the VK72 is an absolute nightmare to face hug. It really is. And this Freedom guy on the enemy team, he is a fantastic player, but he's still missing. And if you're moving backwards and forwards, side to side, the VK72 really isn't the best of tanks to face hug. It's a very strong tank. And now Bolt has the tungsten shells. He's going to use the heat. So he, at least even using heat, I mean, he still has to use heat to pen this guy. He still only does just over 600 damage, but nevertheless he gets yet again another bounce. Now he has the WZ on the reload. Doesn't matter about the tungsten shell. He needs to take his time, not miss his shot. He's going to go for the HE, and he gets the kill. 3,000 block damage Bolt got there, but on top of that damage, he also gets 7,500 damage himself. Very well played, Bolt. And that game just shows how strong the VK72 is. A very well deserved Kolobanov, but nevertheless, Freedom on the enemy team had a fantastic game as well. 5.3k in the WZ there. So moving on, we're going to have one more game, and it's we are going to watch Raftalia driving the VK72. And again, the VK is a super heavy tank. It's got a lot of hit points, and it's got a lot of armor, and you need to be front line. This tank is a front line tank. You need to be taking the shots for your team, and hopefully if you're angled correctly, you will bounce most of them shots. Now, what's more difficult than coming up against one VK72? And that is coming up against two VK72s in a platoon. If these two work well, if these two work as a platoon together, then it almost is an instant win. If they're a good player, if they're good players in two VK72s, then it almost is an instant win for this team if they play it correctly. So yeah, both tanks have tungsten shells. If you do have the tank definitely run it with the tungsten shells, because as I've said, it's already a strong tank, and using them tungsten shells has just made it even stronger. But still, when you're using that tungsten shells, pay attention to where the enemy are. Unless you're happy with just getting one shot off with the tungsten shells, then yeah, okay, use the tungsten shells. If you think you can do high damage, if you've got a HE locked and loaded, if you've got a juicy target on a grill or a leopard, then of course use the tungsten shells, because it wouldn't really matter too much if you only get one shot off. So just be patient with it. Just be patient. Don't spam it just because you can see an enemy. Like now, like most people would see that Sheridan and quickly hit that tungsten shell button. Just be patient with it. Only use it when you know you can, for one, guarantee a shot off, but more importantly, well, not more importantly, but also just as important, that you'll be able to get 2 shots off. But the 2 shots is not as important as getting 1 shot. You don't want to just hit that button and then the tank that you're after goes hiding, and it will be a waste. Now, because of the position with this Death Star, now was the perfect time to use that tungsten shell, because there was nowhere for the Death Star to hide. I thought that was a ram there for our guy here, but no, it was a little ram, but his platoon mate finished him off. So he's already bounced 900 damage without taking a single hit point. He's already bounced 900 damage. Now, the only thing with the VK72 is the gun. Of course, it is a super heavy with a massive gun. It is a bit off, so don't expect to hit every single shot that you take. The accuracy, the aim time, of course, they're not the best of stats. So yeah, do pay attention to that and bear in mind that. But you can see, look at all these bounces. I mean, 2.1k damage, because this guy is not giving the enemy his side. He's not giving them the turret underneath the turret, and he's trying to angle the best he can to generate the bounces. Now, the position he's in, he does have that 60 TP looking at him, and when you turn your turret, of course, it does become much weaker. But yeah, don't shoot at the front plate. There is no point. And you can even see there, I think he shoots the bottom plate there. Not quite sure, can't really tell. We just have to wait for him to come out. He does get shot now, but where did he get shot? I think he got shot on the lower plate. You can see a couple of shots there. So you can penetrate the tank on the lower plate. Of course you can, but it's still a very difficult pen, where most tanks, especially like super heavies, like the E100, the lower plate is very weak. Beautiful ammo rack there. Pushes his damage now up to 5.6k damage. If you are going to side scraping's not bad in this tank, but it's not the best because of that weak point at the side. Imagine if he gets another ammo rack right now. That would be epic. So he's not going to wait for the tungsten. I mean, he did have the tungsten shell, and that's why he wanted to push down to maximize that. He does get shot, but I mean, he's still bouncing. 3.8k block damage. It's a 3 versus 4, and that 3.8k has proved to be absolutely vital, because he'd be dead, and there would be no chance for his team to win this game. There goes the pattern, and it now just leaves 3 tanks against 3. Of course, the IS-7 there is again bouncing. He can't do anything, and even though now it's a 3 versus 2, 2 of these guys are a one shot. The Grills, I mean, very low hit points. The IS-7's very low hit points, and if they use the tungsten shells together against this 60 TP, they could clear him. And they pretty much shot him. Did they just shoot him together there? The focus firing, I mean, they are separated, but they're still close enough together. Excuse me, they're still close enough together to help each other out. Now, unfortunately, the IS-7 is on 6 HP, but he still has plenty of hit points, still 1600 hit points, and he is bouncing everything that comes his way. 5,200 block damage this guy's got. Absolutely amazing. He does get shot, but he is now going to get that shot into the 60 TP and clear him to bring it down to now a 2 versus 2. His platoon mate is still on 1,400 damage as well. Now, this IS-7, all it takes is a splash, not even in the face. You don't even need to splash this guy in the face. And they are just struggling. They really are struggling to penetrate this VK72. 5,700 blocked damage. I'm not sure how much block damage the other VK72 has got there, but this is the kind of thing that you can do in this tank that you can't in the E100. It will be very lucky very, very difficult to bounce this much damage in the E100, and that's where the VK, in my opinion, is a much better tank. And now it's got the tungsten shells, it's been made even better than it was. You look at that, 5,700 block damage and over 9,000 damage himself. Absolutely well played there. 9,294 damage. What a mega carry that is. 7 kills between them and sort of 11, 12, almost 12,000 damage. So yeah, if you haven't grinded this line, this is the last tank we need to take a look at. So if you haven't grinded the VK72 line, now is honestly the time to do it. It is definitely a line worth grinding. Hope you enjoyed the video, guys. What do you think now of the VK? Do you prefer the VK or do you prefer the E100? Let me know in the comments below. Hope you enjoyed it. I'm Meadsy, and I'll catch you all soon. Bye bye.